In this episode, I want to show you how to remove, clean, and replace a foam air filter on your KLR650. Our first step is to remove this right side panel on the bike, and that is done by removing an 8mm bolt here and here. Now, I like to use an 8mm deep well socket attached to a 3-inch extension, and that gives me enough clearance to get in there and get these out without hitting the side panels, or in this case I have racks installed. And there's the second bolt. And there's a rubber grommet in the bottom. Just pull that out and then the panel is free. Okay, now that we have the side panel off, our next step is there is a Phillips screw here. Remove that one screw and that will open the door to the airbox. So remove the screw. Just back it out, and then the door to the airbox fits in a little groove right here along this channel. So that's how it comes off. So just set the screw and the door to the airbox off to the side, and now you can get in here to your air filter. You'll notice there is a wing nut on the back of the air filter. Just reach in there and loosen that. And that wing nut is attached to a shaft that goes in and bolts to the airframe. As soon as I get that out, I'll show you what this looks like. All right, so you can see I have that, and I know it's hard to do this and not block the camera, but you get the idea. Just and remove that, and so that bolt looks like that. So now we can just remove our air filter unit. And it's out, and we can clean it. So in this case, mine is looking pretty good, but a little bit of dirt and discoloration here. But I'm still going to wash this out, clean it, and put it back in. So now if you're replacing the air filter, you'll notice that this is the plastic basket that sits inside here. And this is the original one. The air filter just goes right over it. So you can just peel the air filter off of this plastic guard or frame, and that's what keeps it from collapsing when you put it in. You'll notice there is a little bit of a structure here, and this is where the bolt screwed into, the wing nut screwed into to hold it up against there. So while I have this out, you'll notice that there's a lot of grime and muck inside the air filter box. I like to clean that out, wipe it out with a rag, get it as clean as I can, and then when I put the clean air filter back in, you're good to go. Okay, since this video is so short for just simply removing the air filter, I thought I would also go ahead and throw in how to clean a foam air filter. This happens to be Uni, and I'm using the Uni cleaner and of course the foam filter oil, but you can just use, from a cleaning standpoint, in the past for foam filters I've used just a mild detergent, some mildly soapy water, and washed them out. Make sure they dry thoroughly, and then we reapply the oil to the filter. A key ingredient to a foam filter is the oil. It makes it tacky and the dirt particles stick to it, and that's what keeps it from passing through. So at any rate, we've removed the filter from the basket, and we'll set that aside, or I call it a basket. It's a framework, whatever you want to call that. Now the way the cleaner works is that you apply the cleaner inside and out, let it set for a few minutes, and then you rinse it with plain water, and this supposedly will help release a lot of the dirt. So I'm hitting the dirty areas. So inside and out. And what this does is it helps to eat away the, loosen the dirt particles on here. So we let that stand for about 3 minutes according to the directions, and then we'll rinse it with plain water. If it's still soiled, you want to hit it again and just repeat the process, kind of like shampoo, lather, rinse, repeat. It's to sell more cleaner. I like to clean mine before it gets too dirty. So, there's not a lot of really caked on dirt here. If you do have really caked on dirty filter, go ahead and scrape that all off as much as you can get off and without damaging the filter. And then when you get it down, you can apply the cleaner. So we'll let that set for about 3 minutes, and then we'll rinse it and come back and oil. Okay, I'm back. I've rinsed the filter out in the water and squeezed out as much of the water as I can. It's still wet, so we want to leave it out here, but you'll see that after hitting with a cleaner and then rinsing it out, the thing looks like new. It's nice and clean, both inside and out. Typically your dirt's going to build up on the outside because it's sucking air in from the outside into the inner core going into the carburetor. As I said before, don't necessarily have to use the cleaner with these filters. I think it does help. I've used just soapy water, but the cleaner somehow helps the dirt particles release from the foam and brings it to the surface and makes it easier to rinse away. I want to just let this sit out here in the outdoors in the sunshine and the breeze and let it dry thoroughly, and then we'll apply a coat of oil and put it back on the bike. Okay, so it's been about an hour, maybe a little more, since I washed this out, and it's dry to the touch. So I'm going to go ahead now and oil it up and put it back on the frame. All right, so I am using the Uni foam oil. This is not a Uni commercial. I know I have Uni cleaner and all this stuff, but I just bought the kit that had everything in it when I put this filter in, and I use it. So now what I'm looking to do is to go ahead and just basically, it helps if you wear rubber gloves while you're doing this, and just spray the outside of it good, and all the surfaces, and even the inside. All right, don't have to drown it, just give it a good coating, and then now I just usually take my, this is the reason it's good to wear gloves, I just kind of work it into the foam so that it absorbs it into the foam. And that's a good coating. So next is to just put it back on the frame, and the frame just keeps it from collapsing, I guess, when it gets too dirty. So nothing magical about this, just get it up around the edges. Make sure that the lip of the filter is up around the edge of the frame, because as that presses against the box, the air box, you want it to make a nice seal. Also, I just line up this hole here, poke it through like that, and we're good to go. Now we'll go back inside and put this back on the bike. Okay, so we have our filter all clean and re-oiled and back on the frame properly, and it's ready to go back in the bike. Just want to point out that I got the air box all nice and clean, so I took a rag and wiped that all out to get any dust and dirt out of there. You don't have to do that. I just like to do that every time I clean the filter. So I would like to say that this process is the same to clean, even if you have the stock foam filter in here. The Uni is just a little bit better foam filter. Well, it's a lot better foam filter than the factory one. Pretty much for any foam filter, the cleaning process is going to be very similar. But for cleaning, follow the directions for your particular air filter that you have. All right, so we have that pressed back up on there. It's important to make sure that the foam stays around the frame and that we're getting a good seal against the front of the air box, and we are. So now we're going to take our wing nut bolt and feed it back through. In my personal opinion, this is the trickiest part. Getting this little guy back in there and getting it lined up and restarted. There. Now you can feel around until you feel it kind of start into the hole, and now I can start to turn this and turn the threads. You don't have a lot of room to work because this opening to this air box is pretty tight, but just get your hand in there, your fingers, and just do the best you can. There's really no right or wrong way, or easier or better way to do this. Okay, so now I got the wing nut tight up in there. So it's installed, and it's a very simple process to just put the door back on. Now, some people leave the door off so that it can suck more air in. I think it also sucks more dirt in. I'm not going to get into that debate right here. It's up to you. I personally like to keep my door on. So you just, again, line this tab up in this slot and then work the door closed, get the screw started. And there you go. Air filter's clean and box back on. Only thing we have left to do is to put the side panel back on and you're good to go. As always, this is Tim Two Wheels, and that's how I do it. Thanks for watching.